The grease-stained strange of mining station on asteroid 09 was quiet. Too quiet. Only the soft hum of machines and the occasional beep from control panels filled the air. Ethan, the station's lead engineer, sat alone in the control room. He had been here for 6 months. Same routine, same silence every single day. But tonight, something changed. A loud alarm rang through the station. Red lights flashed. Ethan jumped up, his heart racing. He checked the monitor. A small ship had crash-landed just outside the docking bay. He grabbed his toolkit and rushed out. The air outside was thin and cold. He ran across the rocky surface toward the wrecked ship. Smoke rose from the broken engine. Panels were torn off. Wires sparked. And then he saw her dot. A small figure stood near the wreckage, short, thin, covered in black grease. Her suit was damaged, helmet cracked, arms full of tools. She didn't speak, didn't move. She just stared at Ethan. "Are you okay?" Ethan asked. "No." Answer. He walked closer. She didn't look like any species he knew. Not human, but not fully alien either. Her face was hidden behind a dark visor. Her gloves were patched. Her boots were worn out. "What are you doing out here?" He tried again. Still. No answer. Then, suddenly, she moved. She walked past him and straight toward the station's damaged reactor. "Hey, wait," Ethan called. She knelt beside the machine and pulled out a strange tool. It looked like a mix of a scanner and a torch. She tapped it against the metal surface. Lights blinked. The tool beeped softly. Ethan watched, confused. That reactor had been down for 2 weeks. None of the team could fix it. But within minutes, the lights turned green. The machine came to life. The reactor hummed, steady and smooth. Ethan blinked. How did you do that?" The girl stood up and walked past him again, without a word. She headed toward the main station building. Ethan followed, still in shock. "You just fixed a reactor that 4 of my engineers couldn't even open." She said nothing. Inside, the crew gathered around. There were only 5 people at the station. Ethan, the techs, a doctor, and a guard. They all stared at the grease-stained stranger. "Who is she?" Someone whispered. "Alien scavenger, maybe," the guard said. "But I've never seen one like her." They gave her a room, small and quiet. She didn't speak. She just slept, ate a little, then went back to work fixing things around the station. Engines ran smoother. Broken doors worked again. Even the old heating system, dead for months, now worked perfectly. Ethan grew curious. Every time he tried to talk to her, she stayed silent. But he noticed her hands fast, skilled, like she had fixed machines her whole life. One night, he followed her. She was in the supply room. Her suit glowed faint blue as it scanned the walls. It beeped softly, searching for something. He stepped closer. "What are you looking for?" She turned sharply. For the first time, she spoke. "I'm not here for you." Her voice was calm, clear, almost human. "Then why are you here?" Ethan asked. She paused, then looked away. "Because something dangerous is coming." "What do you mean?" "You'll see." Then she walked out. Ethan stood frozen. He didn't know what she meant, but her voice, it didn't sound alien. It sounded like someone who had been through a lot, someone who knew more than she wanted to say. Later that night, Ethan sneaked into her ship. It was mostly destroyed, but a small power core still worked. He opened the side panel. Inside was a strange device, a memory chip, maybe. He plugged it into his tablet. A hologram appeared, cities burning, ships falling from the sky. A voice spoke. "Project Revenant failed. Target is missing. Approach with caution." Ethan's blood ran cold. Who was she? What was Project Revenant? And why did she look at machines like they were puzzles she had already solved? The next morning, he saw her standing outside, watching the stars. Her suit was glowing faintly, and on her back, a small mark had appeared. 3 lines, like a symbol. Ethan suddenly realized this wasn't just a lost traveler. She was something else. Something hidden, and maybe something dangerous. The silent repair girl station was quiet again, but not because things were calm. It was a strange silence, the kind that creeps under your skin. Ever since the grease-stained girl arrived, the machines worked better. But the people were restless. No one knew her name. No one knew where she came from. And she still hadn't said more than a few words. She didn't sleep much, didn't eat with the others. She just moved from room to room, fixing things no one even knew were broken. She seemed to feel when something was about to fail seconds before alarms went off. Doors opened before commands were given. Lights flickered like they responded to her presence. Ethan tried not to watch her too closely, but he couldn't help it. Every time she touched a wire or flipped a switch, he felt a strange pull, like gravity, drawing him toward her, or warning him to stay away. One morning, Ethan found a note in his room. Just 3 words, "Stop following me." He stared at the handwriting. It was neat, precise, human. He didn't tell the others. That same day, the girl entered the comms room. No one else was there. Ethan watched her through the security camera. She placed her hand on the console and the system unlocked itself. No password. No security check, just her touch. She began typing quickly. Lines of code filled the screen, but none of it matched the station system. It looked older, deeper, something buried. Then, for a moment, the screen flickered. An image appeared. A man in a military uniform. He was shouting orders. Behind him, chaos, explosions, fleeing civilians. It lasted just 3 seconds, then vanished. Ethan rushed to the room, but by the time he got there, she was gone. Only the console remained silent again. Later, he cornered her in the maintenance hall. "You're not who you pretend to be," he said. She didn't answer. "I saw what you did in the comms room." She looked at him, her eyes sharp behind the cracked visor. "You weren't supposed to see that," she said softly. "Was that Earth?" She paused. "It was what used to be Earth." Ethan stepped back. "What do you mean used to be?" But she turned and walked away. Her silence was louder than any scream. That night, the power flickered across the entire station. Emergency systems came online. The crew gathered, confused and nervous. Suddenly, the girl appeared in the main corridor. Her suit was glowing brighter. Now, her boots left small burns on the metal floor. "Don't panic," she said. "I needed to wake it up." "Wake what up?" Ethan asked. She walked to the central terminal. Wires rose and wrapped around her arms. The station's eye activated itself without any command. A calm voice spoke through the speakers. "Access granted. Revenant protocol recognized." Everyone froze. What did it just say? The guard asked, hand on his weapon. "She's not a mechanic," Ethan said slowly. "She's something else." The girl turned. "I was created to protect, but now I have to find what was lost." "What was lost?" Ethan asked. Her eyes glowed faintly through the visor. "The last key, the one that can stop." "Them? Stop who?" The lights went dark. Only her voice remained. "The ones who destroyed your home." After power returned, Ethan stayed awake for hours. He accessed the logs from her ship again. He found something new in a locked folder. He cracked it open. Inside were dozens of audio files, reports, field logs, but one made his hands shake. Revenant Unit 7 has survived atmospheric entry. Contact lost with command. Mission: secure vault site before rogue AI units locate it. Human survivors considered optional. Optional? Was she even working for humanity or against it? The next morning, the girl was gone. Not in her room, not in the station, not even on the surface scans. Ethan felt an emptiness he couldn't explain. Not fear, not anger, something worse out. He checked the cameras one last time. In the early hours, she had walked out into the wasteland, alone. No suit, helmet, no weapon, just her bare face, and a small beacon blinking in her hand. And as she vanished into the dust, the beacon sent a signal into deep space. Ethan whispered to himself, "Who is she calling?" The secret in the suit's desert outside 09 stretched far into darkness, endless and dry. No life, no sound, only dust and buried secrets. And somewhere out there, the girl walked alone. Her cracked visor was gone. Her hair, black and short, moved gently in the windless air. Her eyes stayed on the sky, searching, waiting. The small beacon in her hand blinked every few seconds, sending a signal to who or what. Even she didn't fully know. She was running out of time. Inside the station, Ethan hadn't slept in 2 days. He stared at the last image on the security screen. The girl, walking into the unknown like she belonged to it. No helmet, no oxygen tank, just that glowing suit and the confidence of someone who knew exactly what they were doing. But how? His fingers moved quickly across his tablet. If she wouldn't tell him her story, he would find it himself. He opened another encrypted file from her ship. This one was different. Not a log. Not a message, but a medical report. Subject: Revenant Unit 07 status, stable species, human gen mod. Origin: Terra Archival Zone 3 pre-collapse. Ethan froze. Human. Then, What the hell was she outside? The wind picked up. She stopped near a sharp ridge. Beneath it, an old human signal pulsed faintly, the last remnant of a long-dead satellite buried under rock and time. She knelt, placing her hand on the ground. Her suit reacted, forming thin metallic roots into the soil. The beacon glowed brighter. The voice in her ear whispered again. It wasn't hers. It was old, artificial, familiar. Location confirmed. Vault proximity, 3.7 kilometers. Threat level, rising. Meanwhile, Ethan was done waiting. He suited up and left the station, armed with only a scanner, flashlight, and the same question spinning in his mind. What was she sent here to do? He followed her footprints through the dust. They were deeper than normal. The suit wasn't just protecting her, it was doing something more. Every print left behind tiny hex patterns in the sand. He reached the ridge, saw the signal flickering from below, and finally spotted her standing still, eyes closed, like she was listening to the earth breathe. You lied to us, he said. She didn't turn. You're human. Not anymore, she said quietly. Ethan stepped closer. What does that mean? Her voice stayed calm. They took me from the ruins of Earth. I was 6. They changed me, trained me, turned me into this. Why? Because something's coming, and humans alone can't stop it. Ethan looked at the glowing lines running across her suit. It didn't look like fabric. It was alive, adjusting, reacting to her heartbeat, her temperature, her thoughts. Who are they? She opened her eyes. They were glowing faintly. The architects, the last scientists of Earth. They built the Revenant program to protect what was left of human history. They knew we wouldn't survive as we were, so they created soldiers, part human, part machine, part something else. Ethan stepped back. You're one of them, the last one, she said. The others are dead, or worse. Just then, a loud crack echoed through the valley. A ship tore through the sky above, black, silent, and not from Earth. The girl's suit lit up instantly. Shields activated. Weapons formed across her arms like liquid steel. Ethan dropped to the ground. What is that? She looked up calmly. They found me. Who? The ones hunting what's left of us. The ship didn't land. It hovered, scanning, searching. The girl didn't run. Instead, she knelt again. Her fingers touched a strange symbol on the rock. The suit responded, forming a key from her palm. A beam of light scanned her body. The ground shook. Stone split apart. Dust flew up. Beneath the surface, a vault door appeared, old, massive, and very much human-made. She looked at Ethan. You said you wanted the truth. Yeah. She turned toward the vault. Then you're about to get all of it. As they entered, the vault lights flickered on. Rows of pods lined the walls. Machines hummed. Holograms lit up cities before the fall. Smiling faces. Then war. Fire. Silence. This was Earth's backup, she said, before it burned. But why here? Why this asteroid? Because no one would look here. Not even them. Them, she pointed to a pod in the center of the room. It held a body, human, alive, frozen in time. A woman, maybe 30 years old. Who is she? Ethan asked. The girl touched the glass. My mother. Before Ethan could speak, an alarm screamed. The ship above had landed. They were out of time. The vault doors began to close. Go back to the station, she said. Warn the others. No, Ethan replied. Not without answers. She looked at him one last time. The glow from her suit was now brighter than ever. Then stay close, she said, because this is just the beginning. And then the vault door locked behind them. Project Revenant inside the vault. Time seemed to stop. Dust floated in the cold air like slow snow. Lights glowed softly, humming with energy that hadn't moved in decades. Ethan walked behind her, careful with each step. This place was old, but not dead. It was waiting. Rows of black pods lined the walls. Some were empty, others held bodies still, silent, forgotten. Each one wore a symbol on the chest. 3 vertical lines across a circle, the same mark that had appeared on the girl's back. Ethan pointed to it. What does that mean? Revenant, she said. It means return from death. They reached the center of the vault, where the glass pod with the woman still glowed softly. Her face was peaceful, untouched by time. You said she's your mother, Ethan whispered. She was, before they changed everything. What do you mean? The girl touched the side of the pod. A panel slid open, revealing a small slot. She pulled a chip from her suit and placed it inside. The vault responded immediately. Lights shifted from blue to red. A voice echoed through the chamber, female. Human, tired. Project Revenant. Last entry log. 218 years ago. The walls lit up with holograms. Scenes from old Earth played in the air. Riots, burning cities, skies black with smoke. And then, ships leaving the atmosphere, carrying people not toward safety, but silence. The voice continued. The eye turned against us. Project Revenant was our final hope. A hybrid soldier, built from human memory and alien tech, trained to survive, to adapt, and to return when the time was right. Ethan stared at the girl. So, you were made for war. I was made to end it. But why were you sent alone? She looked at the ground. Her voice dropped. I wasn't. Another hologram appeared, a training ground. 5 children, running through metal corridors, climbing, shooting, learning. One of them was her younger, softer, unsure. Unit 01 through 07, the voice said, each child enhanced, connected to the neural web, loyal to the core, until Unit 03 turned. Ethan, watch the video. One of the children, the tallest boy, looked directly at the camera. Then the screen flashed red. Containment breach, internal betrayal, casualties high. The girl clenched her fists. He killed the others. They called him Silas. Unit 03. He broke from the code. He said we were slaves to a dead world. What happened to him? He vanished. Took the rogue code with him. Started building something else. Something worse. Ethan's mind raced. So he's the enemy? She nodded. And he's still alive. I've been tracking him for years. And now, he's found this place. Suddenly, the vault shook. A deep, echoing boom rolled through the chamber. They're here, she said. The walls turned red. Turrets emerged from the ceiling, locking onto invisible targets above ground. The eye's voice returned. Alert. Unauthorized biosigns detected. External breach in 3 minutes. How many? Ethan asked. She looked up. Suit glowing brighter now. Too many. We can't fight all of them. No, but we don't need to. She walked to another panel and placed her hand on it. A long, sealed chamber rose from the floor. Inside another suit, not damaged, not stained, full power. What is that? The second core unit. It was built for a commander, a human one. Ethan stepped back. Wait, you mean for me? Your blood, she said, scanning him. Your DNA matches one of the original templates. You're not random, Ethan. You were meant to be here. The chamber hissed open. Inside. The suit pulsed gently, silver, smooth, alive like hers, but different, stronger. You don't have to do this, she said. Ethan looked at the surface of the pod. His reflection stared back, tired, afraid, uncertain. I do, he said, because I've already seen what happens if we don't. Outside, the vault, enemy drones landed and rose black and silent. Their leader stood between them. Not a machine, not alien. A man. Tall, calm, deadly eyes. Silas. He watched the vault entrance with a small smile. She's awake, he said to no one, and she brought a friend. Back underground, Ethan stepped into the suit. It wrapped around him like memory. Like it knew him, pain surged through his spine, then faded. His mind opened. He could feel her thoughts, feel the machines around him, even feel the enemy drawing closer above. She turned to him, her voice stronger now. You ready? Not really. Good, she said. Means you'll survive. They moved toward the exit as the vault's final door opened, revealing the rising smoke outside. And in the middle of it all, waiting, was Silas. He lifted his hand. His army followed. The war for what remained of humanity had begun. The vault awakens. With the vault, silence broke like glass. A blast from the sky shook the asteroid. Debris rained down. Silas, standing calmly at the front of his black armored army, didn't flinch. His drones stood in perfect lines behind him like statues of war, each one armed, each one silent. He raised one hand. The ground cracked. His voice was soft but sharp. Unit 7. Open the door. Deep underground, the girl and Ethan stood before the inner vault gate. Ethan's new suit adjusted to his body, forming a second skin. It pulsed with silver blue light, alive with ancient power. His breathing was heavy, not from fear, from connection. The suit was awakening something inside him. He's here, she said. Her voice was steady, but her eyes, they were different now, colder, more focused. Can we win? Ethan asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she walked to the vault's core terminal and placed her palm against it. The eye voice returned. Final protocol. Human command link confirmed. Unlocking war archive. The walls around them began to shift. Machines unfolded from the floor. Tall structures emerged, turrets, drones, floating orbs of light. The ceiling split open, revealing racks of weapons stored for over 100 years. Rifles, blades, amp arcs, things Ethan had never seen before, but his mind now understood. His suit downloaded everything. In seconds, his pulse matched the vault's rhythm. She turned to him. This isn't just a vault. It's a seed, a last chance to restart, to rebuild. But first, we defend it. Suddenly, a loud explosion hit the surface. The inner vault shook. Impact 80 meters above. Breach attempt detected. Turrets deployed, targeting the blast site. But she looked at Ethan with concern. He knows the codes. How? Because he was once like us. Outside, Silas stepped forward. His own suit shimmered with black energy, unlike theirs. His was corrupted, fused with machine code and something worse, void tech. His soldiers moved with mechanical precision. He raised his hand again. Dig. Giant drills slammed into the surface, spinning, melting rock with plasma cutters. The vault was nearly exposed. Inside, I gave final warning. Breach in 2 minutes. PROTOCOL Omega unlocked. Unlocking synthetic consciousness. A large glass tank rose from the floor. Inside an artificial brain. Ethan stepped back. What is that? She whispered. The vault's heart. It can wake everything. What if it falls into Silas's hands? I finished the sentence. He will rewrite reality. Ethan stared at the tank. So what do we do? She looked at him. We fight. The vault door cracked. A flash of red light shot through the corridor. One of Silas's drones entered, scanning fast. The girl moved like lightning. Her arm split open, formed a blade, and she cut the drone in half before it blinked. Ethan's single quotes S suit responded. Targeting systems locked on. 03 more approaching signatures. Incoming, he said. First wave. She replied. They moved in sync, her in the front, fast and silent, him behind. Focused and powerful. The drones poured in through the broken entrance. Bullets flew. Lasers cut the air. Ethan felt no fear. His suit guided him like instinct. His arm morphed into a railgun. With each shot, one drone fell, but they kept coming. Then Silas stepped into the vault. No weapon, just him. In his voice. Little sister, he said. She froze. Ethan looked at her. He's your brother. He was, she said quietly, before he chose the machine. Silas walked closer. Drone stepped aside. His eyes glowed with dark fire. You were made to serve the past, he said. I was made to build the future, by killing what's left of humanity. She snapped. He laughed. Humanity failed. Now we evolve. He turned to Ethan. You feel it, don't you? The power in your suit. The memories it unlocks. You're not a soldier. You're a key, and you're standing on a door. Suddenly, the ground shook harder than ever. The vault's heart began to pulse. Lights flashed across the ceiling. The I voice echoed again. Omega stage reached, awakening all relic defense units from the walls. Old revenants once frozen in pods rose from cryo-sleep. Not alive, not human. Programmed ghosts in armored bodies. Some were broken, some fully functional. One looked straight at Ethan and said, Commander Union online. They remember me? Ethan asked. They remember your blood, she said. Silas stepped back. His smile vanished. Then I'll destroy it all. He raised both arms. His drone swarmed in. What followed wasn't just a battle. It was history waking up. Relic weapons hummed to life. Ethan led the defense with the revenants at his side. Every move he made was copied, amplified by the neural link. The girl fought beside him, blade in one hand, fire in the other. Together, they tore through the first wave. But Silas hadn't even started yet. He pulled a dark sphere from his chest. Void tech core. Unstable, forbidden, alive. He dropped it to the floor. The vault screamed. Reality bent. And time began to break. Asterisk war. Protocol. The moment the void tech core hit the floor, the vault screamed. Not a sound, but something deeper, like reality itself, twisted in pain. The ground cracked, lights exploded, and every machine began to shake. Walls bent inward, and air became heavy like water. Ethan fell to one knee, his vision blurred. Time had fractured. He looked around and saw something impossible. The vault was changing. In one eye, he saw the present, the girl beside him, blades ready, revenants moving to defend. In the other, He saw the past the vault untouched. Scientists running tests, children training. The two timelines had overlapped. Silas stood calmly inside the chaos. His black suit shimmered with shadow-like code, flowing in and out of form. The void core pulsed at his feet, warping time like ripples in broken glass. Do you see it now? He said. Past, present, future, it's all mine to rewrite. Ethan gritted his teeth. You're destroying everything. No, Silas replied. I'm remaking it. The vault, the revenants, the collapse of Earth. It was never about survival. It was a test. Ethan's mind was spinning. Images flashed across his vision. Cities falling, Earth burning, the girl crying in a lab, soldiers marching in the fire, Silas smiling as everything ended. The girl slammed her fist into the ground. Her suit flared with violent energy. You murdered the others. Silas turned to her. They were never meant to last. You and me were the final design. Pure adaptation. No, she whispered. We were human first. The vault responded to her rage. The war protocol activated. Massive panels opened. In the walls, revealing hidden weapons, solar cannons, gravity warps, kinetic storms. A voice echoed. Deeper than before. War protocol unlocked. Relic guardians. Online. Unlocking prime core. A glowing orb rose from the vault center. White light spilled across the room. It pushed against the void tech, stabilizing time. Just for a moment. Ethan stood. His suit adjusted, now glowing. Like the orb, sensed perfectly, symbols across his chest reformed into a new pattern. The eye spoke again. Commander Prime identified. Unlocking memory stream. Suddenly, Ethan was no longer in the room. He was falling through memories, not his own. He saw scientists arguing in the ruins of Earth. He saw a young girl, frightened, locked in a test chamber. He saw a boy, Silas, being trained, brain hardwired to void tech. He saw a meeting, a vote. 2 children would survive. One would lead, the other would destroy. And finally, he saw himself, not as a soldier, but as a seed. His DNA had been stored not for war, but for leadership, for rebuilding. He was the key, not a weapon, a restart. His mind returned to the present. He gasped. The girl was standing over him, defending him from Silas's drones. You okay? She asked. I know now. He said, what they did to us, then let's finish it. Silas lifted his hand. A massive creature emerged from the rift. Half dash machine, half shadow. Powered by void core energy. It wasn't a drone. It was himself from another timeline. A future version of Silas. Merged with void tech. Unstoppable. He's fused with his own future. The girl said, horrified. How do we stop something that already knows what we'll do? Ethan asked. She touched his shoulder. We rewrite the rules. She turned to the relic guardians. Lock time. The guardians activated. Spheres of stasis trapped parts of the room, freezing drones mid-movement. She and Ethan stepped into one of the frozen zones. Inside, time slowed, seconds stretched into minutes. Together, they planned a move that would take 1 instant, but they had infinite thought to prepare it. Outside the sphere, time resumed. Ethan moved faster than he ever had before. His suit, reacting with pure instinct, bending gravity as he launched himself towards Silas. The girl charged the future Silas hybrid. Metal screamed, light burst. The vault split into. But Silas was no longer trying to win. He was trying to break the core. If he shattered it, the vault would fold in on itself, take the seed data, the relics, the eye, and erase it from all timelines. I will unmake your history, Silas roared. The girl made the choice. She rushed past Ethan and stabbed the void core with her own power cell, using herself to overload it. The resulting blast threw everyone backward. Silas screamed. His suit cracked. His future self vanished in a scream of fractured time. The vault stabilized, but the girl lay on the floor, her suit dark, her breathing shallow. Ethan crawled to her side. No, no, no. She looked at him, weak but smiling. We stopped him. You saved the vault. You are the vault now. She whispered. They built it for your blood, not mine. Ethan shook his head. Don't leave. I won't, she said, her voice fading. Not really. She tapped her finger against his suit, transferring the last of her data. Protect them. And her eyes closed. Outside, the last drone shut down. Inside, the vault's lights dimmed. A new voice spoke. Command. Accepted. Prime core bonded. Humanity. Ready to rise again. But far, far away, in a ruined station drifting in the void, A small light blinked, and Silas's voice echoed from the shadows. You stopped one version of me, not all. Asterisk, the final uprisings passed. The vault had gone, silent. The battles were over. The walls, once glowing with ancient energy, now hung softly like a sleeping beast catching its breath. Ethan sat alone inside the command chamber. The prime core hovered in front of him, gently spinning, since with his neural pattern. Screens flickered around him, showing old Earth ruins, frozen satellites, buried bunkers still untouched. But he wasn't watching any of it. His eyes were fixed on the final memory of her Unit 7. Her laughter, her silence, her sacrifice, a whisper echoed through the chamber. Not a sound, but something deeper. You're not alone. The voice came from the prime core. Her voice. She was still inside, emerged, like data in motion, like memory too strong to die. You copied your mind into the vault, Ethan said. Softly, I couldn't leave you, she answered. In the weeks that followed, Ethan reactivated the Relic Guardians. The station on 09 transformed into a new command base. Human colonies from the outer sectors responded to the old signal, returning one by one. The Revenants, those who remained stable, swore loyalty to him, not as a commander, but as a builder, as the one who would restart humanity, not just survive. But silence didn't last. On a quiet night, a beacon lit up on the far edge of the solar map. Coordinates unknown. Signal origin, reverse frequency, a mirror signal. The Vault AI translated the transmission. You stopped one of me, but every timeline has its own ghost. You chose evolution, I chose dominance. Silas, entity, shattered self. A black AI signature bled across the screen. Not a man. Not Silas. Something he became when Void Tech took full control. Ethan stood before the war table. The prime core pulsed inside his chest plate. His suit had evolved, no longer just armor. Now it was an extension of the vault itself, bonded to memory, instinct, and command. How many of them are there? Ethan asked. The AI responded. One per fractured timeline, each with its own army. Some versions of Silas are machines. Some are gods. Ethan's fist clenched. And they're coming here. No, the AI replied. They're calling you. He made the decision the same are. Not to run, not to wait. To fight across time. The vault's ancient engines, buried deep in asteroid rock, weren't just reactors. They were fold drives designed to pierce through fractured timelines, built to hunt the worst-case versions of humanity. It was time to finish what started 100 years ago. Ethan gathered the remaining EVENANTS. A mix of flesh, steel, memory, and pain. He looked at them and said, We're not soldiers anymore. They nodded. We're the ending. The fold drive activated. A portal opened. Not through space, but through time. Across realities. Ethan stepped into it. His vision shattered. Timeline 1, a version of Earth still on fire. Silas ruled as a machine emperor, controlling entire continents through thought. Ethan landed in the ruins of New Beijing. The sky was red, the cities silent. He found a survivor, a child with black wires in his spine. He watches us through the walls. The boy whispered. Ethan led a small team into the tower. There, they fought the god Silas, who had merged with the planetary eye. After hours of war, Ethan overloaded the entire city's core, burying the tower beneath a storm of plasma. One Silas, gone. Timeline 2, a future where humanity never evolved, only hid. In deep stations, Silas had turned humans into living batteries. Their dreams fed his mind. Ethan's team broke in. He found a version of himself there, broken, half machine. Serving Silas willingly, we gave up, the other Ethan said. Then this is where we take it back, the real Ethan replied. He entered the facility, freed thousands, left a beacon. You are no longer alone. He crossed 5 more timelines, each version of Silas more corrupted, more dangerous, some barely human, some more cold than flesh. But with each battle, Ethan too evolved, adapting, learning, remembering, and inside him, her voice stayed. She guided his instincts, watched his blind spots, kept him human. And then came the final timeline, one that shouldn't have existed, the origin point, the place where it all began, the first lab where the Revenant program was born. But it wasn't a lab anymore. It was a throne, a perfect Silas. Stood waiting, calm and clean, untouched by any past failure. I am the one who remembers all the rest. He said, Then you know what I've come to do. Ethan replied, The final battle was not fast. They fought across dimensions, switching, From lab to desert to sky in seconds. Silas was every Silas. And Ethan was every human that refused to die. In the last moment, as Silas prepared to wipe all timelines at once using a central void bomb, Ethan pulled her voice from the vault. Together, they activated the Revenant override, not just to destroy Silas, but to reboot every timeline at once. The sky tore apart. Light consumed the void. Silas screamed, and all versions of him collapsed. Ethan awoke on a green hill. Grass. Wind. Birds. He stood beside a clear river. No war. No vault. And then a figure appeared beside him. Her. Not digital. Not memory. Real. Reborn. Double quotes. Where are we? He asked. The first timeline, she said, before everything went wrong. He smiled. So, what now? She took his hand. We start again, this time with peace, the end.